In the run-up to the first three phases of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a series of controversial statements. He claimed that the Congress will distribute people's wealth among the Muslims. He also claimed that the Congress will divert the OBC quota to the Muslims. He called the Muslim community as those who have a large number of children. He also said that the Congress will bring back inheritance tax. In this video, we are fact-checking his statements by delving into the Hindu's archives, by using government statistics, and by analyzing the text of the Congress manifesto. Welcome to another episode of The Data Point. On 21st April, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a series of statements when addressing a public gathering in Rajasthan's Banswara.
इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे.
In his speech, he referred to the Muslims in India as those who have a large number of children. However, a fact check used in government data shows that the fertility rate of Muslim women was 2.36 in 2019 to 2021. The fertility rate is the average number of children a woman is expected to have in her lifetime. A rate of 2.1, which is also called as the replacement level, means that the population is stable. So, a fertility rate of 2.36 means on average Muslim women are giving birth to 2 children, with a few more of them giving birth to 3. Also, the gap between fertility rate of Muslims and that of other religions has been narrowing over the years as shown in the chart. The number of children Muslim women are giving birth to has also drastically reduced over the years, a trend which can be seen in other religions as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also claimed that former Congress Prime Minister Manmohan Singh said that the Muslims had the first claim on the country's resources.
संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है.
Dr. Singh's statement made in 2006 is as follows. I believe our collective priorities are clear. Agriculture, irrigation and water resources, health, education, along with programs for the upliftment of SCs, STs, other backward classes, minorities and women and children, we will have to devise innovative plans to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development. They must have the first claim on our resources. Dr. Manmohan Singh's statement was aimed at all vulnerable sections of the society and did not pertain only to the Muslim community. In fact, his worry about the vulnerable sections of the society is backed by data. Muslims lagged behind other religious groups on several indicators. The share of Muslims who did not go to school in 2005 to 2006 was much higher than other religious groups. In 2019 to 2021, a relatively higher share of Muslims continued to not go to school. The number of Muslims who completed 12 years of schooling was the lowest among all other religious groups in 2005 to 6 and also 2019 to 2021. If we look at health indicators such as the neonatal mortality rate, the improvement among Hindus has been much greater than among Muslims. The higher the neonatal mortality rate, the worse. The lower the number, the better. For instance, in 1998 to 99, the neonatal mortality rate among urban Hindus was 36.6, much higher than the 25.9 among urban Muslims. In 2019 to 2021, the neonatal mortality rate among urban Hindus reduced to 18.4, much lower than the 18.7 recorded among urban Muslims. So, the improvement was slower paced among Muslims when compared with the Hindus. Such disparity was found in under 5 mortality rate as well. In his speech in Rajasthan, Prime Minister Modi alleged that the 2024 Congress manifesto proposes to distribute people's wealth among Muslims if elected to power.
ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है.
The Congress manifesto does not mention anything about distribution of people's wealth to any religious group, including Muslims. In fact, the word Muslim is not even mentioned in the manifesto. On April 24, the Prime Minister alleged that the Congress reduced the quota for OBCs in Karnataka by putting the Muslim caste in the same category.
मुसलमान की सभी जातियों को एक ही कागज निकालकर सबको ओबीसी कोटा में डाल दिया. कांग्रेस इन सबको ओबीसी कोटा में डाल करके ओबीसी को जो हक मिलता था उसका बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा उसने छीन लिया और धर्म के आधार पर दे दिया.
A look at the history of reservations in Karnataka shows that it has been a contentious issue for several decades, with many agitations taking place every time the state government arrived at a decision. Many commissions were constituted under the Karnataka state government to study the backward classes, and all of these commissions considered the Muslim community as minorities. Reservations in Karnataka has taken many shapes and forms, but it has always ended up in the courts and led to long-drawn legal battles. Keeping the complicated history aside, let's focus on the issue of Muslims being given a separate quota in the state. Former Chief Minister of Karnataka, H.D. Deve Gowda, on several occasions has claimed that it was his Janata Dal government and not the Congress which implemented the 4% reservation for Muslim community under a distinct classification 2B in the OBC quota. He also said that this has to be seen as a model and be implemented in the entire country. Remarkably, this reservation setup remained the same even when BJP ruled the state in the subsequent years under the leadership of B.S. Yediyurappa. At present, Deve Gowda's party, Janata Dal Secular, is an ally of the BJP for the 2024 Lok Sabha election. Before the 2023 assembly elections in the state, the BJP government did away with the reservations for the Muslims, claiming that reservations cannot be based on religion. However, the Supreme Court deemed the state government's decision prima facie shaky and flawed. It is also interesting to note that the Janata Dal Secular, before the 2023 assembly elections of Karnataka, stated in their manifesto that they will restore the 4% reservation to the Muslim community if they were elected to power. Also, it is not just Karnataka. In at least 14 states, including Gujarat, the central government has provided reservations to some Muslim communities under the OBC quota in the central list of OBCs. While addressing a rally in Surguja, Prime Minister Modi claimed that the Congress proposed a 15% quota for Muslims in Andhra Pradesh.
आंध्र प्रदेश में धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण देने का प्रयास किया था. फिर कांग्रेस ने इसको पूरे देश में लागू करने की योजना बनाई. इन लोगों ने धर्म के आधार पर 15% आरक्षण की बात कही और ये भी कहा कि एससी, एसटी, ओबीसी का जो कोटा है उसी में से कम करके, उसी में से चुरा करके ये धर्म के आधार पर कुछ लोगों को आरक्षण दिया जाए।
While it is true that the Congress pushed for reservations for Muslims in Andhra Pradesh, it was not for 15% but 5%. Also, this proposal is not new and was initiated 2 decades back. Moreover, this has not yet come into force due to legal logjam. The Minorities Welfare Commission and the Backward Classes Commission identified the Muslims to be educationally, socially, and economically backward and therefore entitled to affirmative action. The Congress wanted to implement the Commission's recommendations, but till date, the state government has not implemented this. Over the years, the reservations for Muslims has been struck down by the Andhra Pradesh High Court, citing various reasons such as quota is unconstitutional and that it breaches the 50% ceiling limit. The Supreme Court is yet to hear the matter. As noted before, the 2024 Congress Manifesto does not mention the word Muslims. Instead, the Congress Manifesto proposes a 10% reservation in jobs and educational institutions for economically weaker sections of all castes without discrimination. In another election rally in Beetul, Prime Minister Narendra Modi claimed that the Congress had advocated for inheritance tax in 2011. He also said that the party was lying when it said that the idea of such a tax was the personal opinion of Sam Pitroda, the president of Indian Overseas Congress.
कांग्रेस के बड़े नेता ने कहा है कि भारत में इनहेरिटेंस टैक्स लगना चाहिए, यानी आपके दादा दादी माता पिता ने जो कुछ भी बचाया है और उनके स्वर्गवास के बाद जो आपको मिलेगा उसमें से आधा कांग्रेस सरकार हड़प करना चाहती है। बताइए, आपके माता पिता ने जो मेहनत करके कमाई करके आपके लिए छोड़ा है वो उस पर आपका अधिकार है कि नहीं है? आपका अधिकार है कि नहीं है? ये आपके परिवार की मेहनत की कमाई है कि नहीं है? क्या आपको छीनना चाहे तो छीनने देंगे क्या? लेने देंगे क्या? क्या ऐसा सोचने वाली कांग्रेस को सत्ता में आने देंगे क्या? क्या उनके लिए लूट चलाने का रास्ता खोल देंगे क्या? भाइयों बहनों, ये सोच कैसी है? अरे हमारे देश में तो अलग संस्कार है, अलग संस्कृति है, और कांग्रेस के नेता इस बयान पर बवाल के बाद अब कांग्रेस झूठ बोल रही है। ये तो शाहजादे के सलाहकार की व्यक्तिगत राय है, लेकिन सच्चाई ये है कि साल 2011 में भी कांग्रेस ने इनहेरिटेंसी टैक्स की वकालत की थी।
Mr. Pitroda, while addressing a query on redistribution of wealth, spoke about the inheritance tax law in the United States. The Congress distanced itself from Mr. Pitroda's comments. The party's General Secretary in charge of communications, Jairam Ramesh, also said that the Congress has no plans whatsoever to introduce inheritance tax. A search in the Congress manifesto does not yield any results for the term inheritance tax. It is true that the Congress toyed with the idea of imposing inheritance tax in 2011. The then Home Minister P. Chidambaram raised this issue during a meeting of the Planning Commission. But the idea of imposing inheritance tax was not restricted to the Congress. The BJP was interested in this as well. After the BJP came to power in 2014, two ministers, both involved in finance portfolio, which is capable of levying such taxes, discussed this idea. In 2013, just before coming to power, Jayant Sinha, who would become BJP Minister of State for Finance, advocated the need for estate tax, a form of inheritance tax which existed in India till 1985. In fact, Mr. Sinha acknowledged the fact that inheritance tax was in the discussion on Twitter in November 2014, 6 months after taking charge of the portfolio. In this tweet, he clarifies who the inheritance tax is applicable for. While this tweet can still be found on Twitter, the tweets of several other BJP members who retweeted or agreed to such a tax is now deleted. 4 years later, in 2018, the then Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had praised inheritance tax for large endowments to hospitals and educational institutions in the West. In 2018, speaking at an event at AIIMS New Delhi, he said, "So I was analyzing why that condition doesn't exist in our country. And one of the reasons I found out was that those societies have very large inheritance tax. Therefore, a lot of people in their old age prefer to go for charitable donations in order to get around that inheritance tax. Since we don't have that inheritance tax in India, our charities are not in terms of such endowments." When addressing a rally in Morena in Madhya Pradesh on April 25, Prime Minister Narendra Modi alleged that Rajiv Gandhi abolished inheritance tax after Indira Gandhi's assassination in order to inherit her wealth in full.
लेकिन पहले ऐसा कानून था कि वो उनको मिलने से पहले एक हिस्सा सरकार ले लेती थी। कांग्रेस ने पहले ऐसा कानून बनाया था। तब चर्चा थी और व्यापक रूप से चर्चा थी कि जब इंदिरा जी नहीं रही और उनके बेटे राजीव गांधी जी को ये प्रॉपर्टी मिलने की थी, लिख करके गई थी, तो अब सरकार को पैसा चला ना जाए, प्रॉपर्टी को बचाना था, तो इन्होंने क्या कर दिया, उस प्रॉपर्टी को बचाने के लिए अपनी माता इंदिरा गांधी से मिले हुए पैसों को बचाने के लिए उस समय के प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमान राजीव गांधी ने अपनी संपत्ति बचाने के लिए पहले जो इनहेरिटेंस कानून था उसको समाप्त किया और खुद के पैसे बचा लिए।
The estate duty law was introduced in 1953 to reduce the unequal distribution of wealth. Essentially, it's a tax levied on the assets of a deceased person and is to be paid by the person who inherits them. As of today, there is no inheritance tax in India. VP Singh, the finance minister in the Rajiv Gandhi government, abolished estates tax in 1985 due to the high costs of administration. In 1985, the government introduced an amendment to the estates duty law saying any deaths on or after 16th March 1985 would not be subject to inheritance tax. Former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated in 1984, which was much before the cut-off date. Thank you for watching this video, and for more such videos, follow and subscribe to Hindu.